There's a Jonathan Haidt book called The Righteous Mind,
I
and
saw
he
that.
has something called Moral Foundations Theory, and he maps out what the moral foundations are. And the six moral foundations are care, harm, liberty, oppression, fairness, cheating, loyalty, betrayal, authority, subversion, and sanctity, degradation. And the sixth one, sanctity, degradation, is where the concept of a divine ethic comes in. In other words, we only think something is right or wrong because we are convinced that God said so or didn't say so. There is no other kind of reasoning applied to it. There's not any fairness component. There's not a liberty oppression or a care harm component. It's just whether or not we think God said so. And that's what makes it moral or immoral. And so his charts map this out politically. And so I have taken the liberty, based on some of your comments, Doug, to kind of map this out religiously like this. And so it seems that the people who are doing this to Alistair Begg and basically fundamentalists in general, instead of having a more even set of moral foundations across the board, they're very thick, very much emphasis on the divine ethic, what we think God says. And it's not really what God says, it's what the ideology demands that they think God says.
Yeah, I
And
like that.
this having this be the strongest moral foundation of a person or a group is what results in witch hunts and people being burned at the stake. And then there's authority or subversion. I'm God's anointed. You better not go against me. This girl should keep her mouth shut. And then loyalty and betrayal. You better do what the church covenant says you should do. And it's almost like they really don't care about fairness or cheating or liberty or oppression, because what my experience with fundamentalist groups is that they will all engage in cheating, oppression, and harm in order to make sure that these three stay intact with their in accordance with their ideology. And
I like that.
does that make sense? And so
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
almost like if this chart over here is this spiral dynamics, this would represent an upward mobility of consciousness, someone becoming more mature, somebody growing and transcending their previous level of consciousness and growing in
yeah,
Christ, for example. But it seems like this ideological moralism, this sanctity degradation thing, it it is thicker and more intense the less mature one is,
yeah,
of mistaking the moralism of the ideology of the in group of the John MacArthur's of the world, mistaking that for God's morality, which is very often two very different things.